And what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, here with Ron BTC, aka Cryptoghost on Twitter. Good to have you back, man. How have you been?
Good, man. Thanks for having me back. I enjoyed the live stream last time, and I appreciate you having me back up here.
Yeah, it was a good time. I think people enjoyed it. We got a lot of positive feedback on that stream, and I think people got value out of it. So I thought it'd be a good idea to reconnect again.
Ooh, yeah, appreciate it, man.
And so we'll give people an opportunity to get in. We got some people up in here already. We got my boy Sona Vivi.
Haha,
We
my guy
got
Sona.
Sona. Sona is he lives in Belgium, I believe.
Yeah,
Dive Jedi over here. He's from the Netherlands. He's going to sleep, I think, because it's past his bedtime. But if Sona can stay up, I think Dive should be able to stay up. We got
uh,
Blockchain Andy.
I don't think Sona sleeps much.
No, Sona's up all night, man. We got Jolana. We got Pixel Trader.
Pixel, that's my guy right there.
Yeah, Pixel's a good community member. I was up in one of his Twitter spaces one time. It was a good time. So, how have you been, man?
Good, man. Just normal, normal grind. Watching the market every day. Didn't really take too many trades this past week. So,
How much time do you spend watching the market?
a lot.
Yeah, like
Um,
quantify it.
It's the first thing I do when I wake up. So I wake up about 4:30 every day, and I live on the East Coast, United States, the Southeast, and
What time you wake up?
4:30.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And within a few minutes, I look at BTC, and yep, every day I try to get up, take a cold shower, and then normally I meditate and maybe eat breakfast, and then start studying and looking at charts. So by 7:30, I've probably studied and looked at charts for over an hour, hour and a half, maybe some days.
Wow. When did you start meditating?
Um,
And how'd you get into that also?
yeah, it's kind of funny. Over 10 years ago, and from an unlikely source, I don't even know where I came across it, if it was YouTube or television or something like that. But Russell Simmons wrote a book on it, and I bought the book, and yeah, he sold me on meditating. So yeah, it was a Russell Simmons book, and it's a quick read. If anybody's interested in meditating or anything like that, I would recommend it, checking it out.
Yeah, he's big into like I guess like Asian healing stuff and like
Yeah,
Buddhism, I think.
and I'm not in like all, but and I don't know anybody's personal feelings about Russell Simmons or whatever, but just that one book, it did me pretty good. And I've also read a lot of traders, like they try to meditate to clear their head before the day. It's
Yeah, do you think that help takes some of the emotion out of it?
I don't think it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to be even keeled and not get emotional about it. But at the end of the day, we're all human, so anything, I mean, this is a tough game, I think the average investor or person in these markets, they go off fundamentals mostly. And I tell people this a lot. It's more like the world's biggest poker game is what's happening here. So anything, you're playing it with the smartest, richest people in the world. So anything you can do to give yourself an advantage, I'm all for it.
What do you say to people who don't believe in charts at all, who think that it's like, BS?
hmm Well, I I don't I don't say that's stupid or whatever, because everyone has their own opinion, and I can certainly see why somebody would say that, because it's a frustrating game. But at that, these rich people, these entities, these whales, hedge funds, whatever, they're not just throwing darts out there and seeing what hit. They're looking at something, they're going off something, some kind of structure. Things have to make sense. And if you doubt that, look at when candles close, look at Sunday evening, even the daily, every day, even the hourly, and you'll see a ton of price action, because they're trying to paint that chart a certain way with the two sides fighting. So, I just kind of roll my eyes a little bit, because I know that there's value in it. But if somebody doesn't believe that, I understand why, because it's a frustrating game, and you listen to something, and especially if you're trading off chart patterns. I think lots of times people are like, well, it's a head and shoulders, and then it didn't go down. So I
Yeah.
can certainly understand why some people feel that way.
And how would you steer people, like people who want to get into technical analysis and reading charts? What direction would you point them in to start? Because it can be a little overwhelming, right? Because there's so
Mhm.
much information out there.
Yeah. Well, I tell you something that I did. I took a whole bunch of Udemy courses. If you don't know what Udemy is, it's a site where you can take, they learn anything really, anything you could probably think of. They have a course up there and it's cheap. It's like $15 a course. And it's a really good way to learn like individual concepts. Like if you want to learn more about RSI or Fibonacci or EMAs, find a good course up there and take that. And then you'll know, about that. As far as, other resources, I'm friends with John's Cryptotherapy. Really, I'm a student in his. I've learned a lot from John, and he's putting out a lot of good information in his videos. So that's a free resource that anybody can utilize. And then I also learned under Al Brooks and his course. So I've always, I'll tell anybody, buy the Al Brooks course. It is one of the best paid resources that I know. It's about $400. And it's huge. It's like 160 hours of content. It'll take you a long time to finish. He literally goes over everything price action related, though.
Wow. Yeah. All good stuff. Yeah. I've been getting into it myself. One of the things, one of my goals this bear market is to learn technical analysis, be able to read charts a little better in order to, just sharpen my game. Been talking to you, obviously, a lot. I've been meeting with God's Entry a bit and just meeting with smart people who've been doing this successfully in order to, better myself and get myself in a better position. So that being said, we're going to look at some charts today. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, OMI, some small altcoins. So stick around. There's going to be a lot to talk about. We're going to start with Bitcoin. And last time we met, Bitcoin was hovering around this level, but it hadn't yet broken $30,000. You said that you thought there was a strong likelihood that we get to $32,000 and possibly even go higher to as high as $50,000. We did hit that 32,000. We since retraced. What are your thoughts on short-term Bitcoin? You got a screen you want to share over here?
Sure. And I just want to say real quick for anybody who was tuned in last time, there was some certain times in the stream where I thought I was sharing the screen that I was on and I was not. When we all do Zoom calls and Skype and stuff like that, you share your screen, you're sharing your screen. But on the YouTube live stream, it's not that it's not like that. You have to share like the specific screen. So there was times where I was talking about some things and I thought I was sharing my screen and I wasn't. And one of those things is this BTC market data that I've collected. And I refer to this a lot. And I'll bring that up and show you guys that because I was talking about it, referring to it, and I thought everyone could see the spreadsheet and it wasn't up. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do that.
Yep, we got God's Entry in the house.
Oh, cool. Big time.
Yes.
So I want to see if I can share that that first. Bear with me because I don't see it on the list of things that I can share. If not, I'll just go to the BTC chart and
sure.
Okay, I'll just go to the BTC chart for now, but I'll come back to that.
Here we go. Throw this up.
All right, and I'll start out. I'll look at the weekly and the 4 hour just to give like an overall market view of what we're looking at. So zoomed out, there's a few bull and bear cases here. And I'm just going to talk about some technical analysis, and then I'll try to bring that spreadsheet up and refer to some of the numbers up there to see how that correlates. So a few things we're looking at here, inverse head and shoulders that the bulls would like to see play out. And they're still pushing for that move. I mean, we've got some movement up, but if this pattern plays out and it's true to its value, then that adds up to about 36K, over here with this structure, that's good. Also, I thought this whole time that this down here was a falling wedge that we would eventually break out of, and we did. And see, we take the measure move from the falling wedge. to where it broke out. So like right there, that gets you in the neighborhood as well, around 33, 34. So that's a good way to predict moves. There's not very many what's called leading indicators. You always hear the term lagging indicators. Indicators are lagging. So measured moves off chart patterns is one way you can project out on where we might go. There's also something called a Fibonacci extension tool. So you do something like this to this to this, and this gives you some targets that could possibly be on the table. I don't love using that. It's okay. Now, just from like a chart pattern standpoint, the bearish case is this is forming a rising wedge right here. But this is the weekly, so these things can take a long time to play out. And if I can get that market data sheet to come up, then I think this actually correlates with that. Rising wedge is a bearish pattern. You got this as like a double top over here. I know it doesn't look on the chart like a traditional double top, but trust me, that's how bots and algos and everything are going to trade that as a double top. So we're still at kind of like a double top, but
double tops are bearish.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest, the main patterns that I really go off of are flags and double tops and double bottoms. And I try to combine patterns too. So for instance, when I'm looking at a bear flag, sometimes if I'm convinced that it's a flag pattern that's going to play out, then I'll short it when there's a double top in like the flag range, like the double top within the bear flag. And another pattern that's bearish is like a double top where the right side is a rising wedge, which is what you have here, but it's not. I wouldn't really classify it as that same kind of thing I'm talking about, because this is a double top, but it's not like how the leg goes up, like how it looks going up makes a big difference. And I do think that's what separates me and some other people on Twitter. Like people can look at levels and no chart patterns and stuff like that, but it's how the leg looks. Like, is it a breakout? Is it a channel? Is it a leg in a trading range? All that makes a big difference to whether it's going to break through that level or not. And let me see, give it another chance if I can try to get this market data to come up. And I have to stop sharing my screen. I think I can.
Okay.
And everybody just bear with me just a second.
Yep, we got Justin in the house. Justin's calling for a new pattern. It's called the bullhead and horns, named after Danny the Bull.
Can you see it up there? I just wanted to share my screen.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, and I'll bring up that Bitcoin index chart where I have everything written down on. We can look at that real quick. But this is from like the beginning of Bitcoin's history, the drops from the all-time highs to the bear market. The bear market rally gains, all this stuff. And time is one thing that I've referred to the most. You see, after are you
able to zoom in a little on the text?
Yeah.
If you go up to like 100% or whatever it is. Under view, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
You see that a little better, Danny?
Yep.
So you notice from the all-time high to the first low, like the first market bottom, from 2017 all-time high to 2021, I mean, it's almost the same, within a week of each other. And I did refer to this, and I've said it up here last time. When BTC was 15K, that's when I was deploying all the funds that I had access to bag up as much as I could. And I did look at this time data. It's funny. It was almost exactly a year to the day from the all-time high to the current market low. And, this is what everybody wants to know now. Like, when's the next low? When the next low price is coming? So the 2013, it was because all these bear markets have double bottom. So in 2013, it was 217 days. 2017, it was 452 days. Quite a difference in these rallies too. This rally was like 86%. It was a lot smaller, and this one was 330%. So currently we're at 171 days. And I think all this kind of adds up to where you could see, depending on which cycle we mimic more, somewhere between 5 to 9 months, 5 to 8
You're
months.
expecting Bitcoin to break down to hit a double bottom, like the previous last two cycles.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's done. So, and Bitcoin just likes to double bottom in general anyway, on all time frames. So that's what I'm, and I'll say this, and I've been somebody who sold the tops and bought the bottoms, and I still don't think that I'm, smarter than the market to where I'm going to be able to time the bottom every single time. So, DCA on the way down, especially alts and stuff like that, because when the bull market comes back, I mean, these prices, they're all going to be low prices.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's a good strategy. It's a year to the halving, and I'm still going to go under the assumption that we're going to rally at the halving or somewhere close to it. So don't forget.
Sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
if we mimic the 2013 bear rally, then we could be looking at a double bottom in about 30 to 40 days.
Yeah, and I think that it's probably for this is probably gonna be somewhere in between. And these cycles were a lot different too. Like what happened after that with the 2019 bear market rally, you see how it went up so much more, but then the bull market that followed was a lot weaker. And I think that correlate that's probably why, or a factor anyway, when you had such a strong bear market rally, where this one wasn't as strong, and the 2017 market was like parabolic. And it also, down here at the bottom, I have how long there was a distribution and accumulation at these time periods. And for the 2019, it was basically a V-shaped recovery, the COVID crash. And I said this last time, a lot of people don't realize this because they always talk about the COVID low or whatever. The COVID low was a higher low. It did not make a new bear market bottom. And that's what I think is most likely, is that we'll get a higher low double bottom. But I'll say this, and I mentioned this last time, if you take all these things and where the bear market rallies went and where they dropped in the past, if we mimic 15 or 19 and got those gains and then got those drops, both point to about 14K. So I certainly don't put that off the table to get those low prices. But if you look at a chart like on the weekly, and where that FTX breakout candle was, I know that bulls are definitely going to defend that breakout point. That's why I feel like it's likely that we see like a wick below it to like 18K or something like that. And that's not even for sure. Nobody knows at the end of the day, but previous bear markets have double bottom. Bitcoin likes to double bottom. I think that we're going to get a double bottom in the range anywhere from, 12.5 to 18K, somewhere in there.
Yeah, but you still think that it's not a bad idea to DCA?
For sure, because you don't want the train to leave and you don't have any bags packed. And at the end of the day, no matter how smart somebody is, a market analyst, nobody can see the future. Nobody knows that we're gonna, hit 10K, 12K. We're gonna double bottom. My buddy Eric, I talk about him a lot. He's my friend in real life, and he's been really successful in crypto and investing and things like that. And he's not a trader. He does different things and looks at different things. He doesn't think Bitcoin's going to go under 25K again. That's just his opinion.
How long has he been around for?
He's been in the stock market a long time. He's like 3 or 4 years older than me, but he's made millions off crypto, and he did it from accumulating in the bear market and staking and still doing those things and still looking for pre-sales. And, he's just smart in different ways. And me and him, when we have time to talk about these things, I think we complement each other well.
And yeah, God's Entry thinks September, October, possible bottom. How many days approximately would that be from the previous bottom?
I'm gonna go back to the chart. Yeah, and I think there's two scenarios. I think that you'll get like 4 months or so and have a longer accumulation phase, or we kind of hang up here for a long time and then get a like a bad news event to start push price down, and then maybe we see more like we saw last time, like and that's why I think a higher low. I think the last bear market double bottom is a really good just comparison, just because everyone's scared of bad news. They're scared of some bad news event. And look, it's out there. There's bad news, US regulation, war, inflation, all these things can definitely happen. But like I said last time, the COVID pandemic, whatever you want to call it, that was bad news too. And that still didn't make a new low in the market cycle.
Yeah.
So what were we looking at the time from what we were looking at, Danny?
Let's say, so God's entry says that he thinks the possible bottom could be September to October. I'm saying, how many days would that, if we double bottom in that range, how many days would that be from the previous bottom? We're currently at what, 171 days?
Yep. So that would be 322. I'm going to bring that spreadsheet back up. I know you guys can't see it, but the time. So that would put us between bear market lows. That would put us. So the previous two were 217 and 452. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. I think that's a good. See, another thing, September's always been a bad month for crypto.
Yeah.
As well. So I think there's two scenarios. I think either we make a bottom sometime around then and just kind of linger around that range, and the market ranges, and there's a long accumulation period, and then the bull market will be stronger, or we kind of hang out in the 25 to 30, low 30s for longer, and then we get some kind of bad news event, pushes price down. That could even be into next year, a month or 2 or 3 before the halving, and then maybe have some kind of V-shaped recovery similar to the last cycle.
Yeah. What's interesting is when you look at the chart, how fast the move up is, right? You could say you stay in that low area for a long period of time and it feels like forever, but then there's that fast move up.
Yep.
And that's what you want to be ready for.
Yeah, I mean, don't wait for you might not get that pullback. I mean, this is a weekly chart, so it's fairly big, but
Right.
Once it starts that move, there wasn't much of a pullback. People, I remember at the time people were talking about, pullback is a scam, it's not going to keep going. I'm waiting for the pullback. I'm waiting for the pullback, and it just kept going,
Yeah. That's really my strategy, is to DCA, because it's really hard for me to time the market. I want to take emotion out of it. So when I try to time things, it just makes me a little anxious. So yeah. I DCA, in the bottom part of the range, because I know we're range bound, right? So if we're trading between 27 and whatever it is, 32, I'll wait for the 27 range for Bitcoin. Yeah. But I'll nibble. And then if things break lower, I'll go in harder, and the lower it goes, the harder I go. And that's kind of how I play. And my game is a long game to accumulate. Let's talk about OMI a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone here is most likely interested in the OMI token. It's been beaten down pretty bad in this continued downtrend. So what are you seeing there?
So we'll look at the technicals first, and then I'll talk about some fundamentals after that. And I stopped trading OMI, I don't know, a little bit ago. I had that streak where I went 60 straight days and didn't lose anything. And I just I don't know if I lost interest or got bored in or whatever, but I just got to the point to where I was tired of all the FUD with the project and everything like that. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy this HODL bag and just put it off in my MetaMask. And, I'm not going to worry too much about the daily price action of OMI. But I've been in the project so long that I can't help but to look at it some. And so I actually, believe it or not, I had an order on BitForex, a pretty big one at 0.000517. And this is Gate.io right here because you can't look at Bit4X on TradingView. But I would have caught the very, very bottom, but it didn't go that low on Bit4X. And the reason where I got that from, I got it from a few places, or that general range. Whoops, I have to zoom out some here again. Not that far. All right, so there was, say the price was ranging in here, and this is like I was saying, it's showing with Bitcoin, when you're trying to predict out, there's not a lot of tools to help you, and measured moves on ranges and things like that can be, you know, something to give you an idea. So if you took that from that range and it broke out, I mean, that gave right there, and the market likes round numbers, so I was thinking 0.00050 and to put an order a little bit above that. And then also from like this range, or you call it channel, whatever. And that was, you know, it was something else I was looking at. It might not have been that, or I may have measured it differently, but there was another measure move from a range like that that also was like confluence in that area. And then that same tool I used a second ago, I used that as well, the Fibonacci extension. Yeah, and it went right off the 618 level. And I'm not like the biggest Fibonacci person. I use it, but I'm looking more at the 50 level for how I trade. But I know these levels exist, and I know they're important and things like that. And I don't think that's an accident either that it wicked right off the 61.8 level. So there was three things there that I saw pointing to 0.00050. I know it seemed like 40 was the popular price people were calling for, and it still might go to that. I'm not sure if that's coming from like previous price history. I looked at the oldest chart of OMI I could find, and it just goes so low after 0.00070 that it's hard to you know, really even tell what it was doing. As far as where it's going now, you know, this is the daily right here. I said on Twitter, I thought it was about here. It was looking very V-shaped recovery-ish. And, you know, if we're getting a Bitcoin double bottom later in the year, then sure, prices can go lower than this, and who knows. But for now, I mean, that was a strong wick. I mean, this is the daily, but if you look on the hourly, that wick is the same. So it got balled up pretty fast down here. So if I had to guess, I think when it gets down here in this wick area and like both in the fives and especially the mid fives, that it'll get balled up. It was looking like a V-shaped recovery. This is a level right here that to stay above. I mean, you see we're double bottomed and then came up, and then now are we going to reject here? Are we going to take it? I thought it was going to accept price because this was a strong move up, and that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see to break through a range, a move like that. And it held for a little while, especially if you go on the 4 hour and take a little bit better look. It was holding, and now, you know, it looks like it's kind of starting to sell off again. So if I was looking to buy OMI and accumulate, I would look for somewhere around here, starting at 0.00058, and you know, maybe set orders to DCA down through this zone. That would be what I think is the most likely scenario. I do think it'll probably form some kind of higher low double bottom though.
Does the fact that it's in this, you know, long-term downtrend concern you?
Not really. And I posted this on Twitter a few times. So if you look at the weekly, well, let's say the daily, maybe give you a better picture. It might have been the weekly I looked at actually. Yeah, from about here. So take a mental picture, kind of how that looks. And that's ADA. So it looks like a team almost. And I mean, that's a top 10 project. I don't love ADA either, but I mean, it's concerning that BTC has went up 100%, and in that same time, OMI's went down like 30%. So that's certainly not good. But when we start looking at some of the low cap stuff, I'll talk about some of the fundamentals from OMI and stuff. I mean, it's certainly not good. Some of the TA, but as far as the long downtrend, it went up a lot in 2021. I think I saw somewhere it was like 15,000%.
It was actually I think the biggest gainer.
Yeah, I actually think I saw God's ETH posted on Twitter about like OMI and Gala, and I'm actually going to talk about OMI and Gala and compare the two because I think they're a good comparison. And I really do try to be objective with OMI. I don't try to ignore the things that people are upset about, but I also try to keep it in context and and be objective about it.
Cool. Do you want to move into some altcoins?
Yeah, sure.
Colin's asking if you have a take on the S&P and are expecting a big sell-off there.
So since he brought up the S&P, I'll look at it real quick because
Okay.
I mean it looks fairly strong, but on the weekly, I mean it's like a down channel. In my opinion, it's still kind of channeling. Yeah, I mean, so and it's at the top of that channel. So yeah, I do think a dump in the stock market will come eventually, and I do think that Bitcoin will go down with it. But I look at Bitcoin to the S&P kind of like an altcoin to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down, sure, alts will go down, but they'll still respect their own levels. So I kind of look at the same thing with Bitcoin.
And Sona has, while the charts are up, Sona has BNB request.
You want to look at BNB?
Yeah.
Yeah, BNB is something that I've done really well with this bear market cycle. I hit these three and I tried to short it up here at 340 and KuCoin wouldn't let me. So I tried to short it again up here and I did close this out about like around here in the 310s. As far as right now, this is the daily and I'm just kind of doing this on the spot, but making a lower high right here. I don't think anything looks good. If you look at this, and he knows I've looked at this on higher time frames. If you look at BNB on a higher time frame, if it loses this area down here, it could really fall a long ways. So
there's a big gap up.
Yeah, huge gap up. And on a chart, it looks like it could fall, but I don't know that CZ would let it fall. And he's got enough money to prop it up if he wants to. So that's why I think on chart, it looks like it can fall down to these low levels of like $40, but I don't know that CZ is going to let that happen.
Yep. All right, you want to move into some of your altcoins that you're looking at? People like to talk about small caps and get ideas. And now I think is a great time to be looking at potential, big winners for the next cycle and figure out where you want to allocate and start building positions.
Definitely. And when it comes to small cap, I don't care what Bitcoin is when I buy that stuff. I just buy it and then just $100 here, $300 there, $500 there. And I just hold it. I don't really worry about the daily price too much. So first of all, I want to talk about OMI, just on like the fundamentals of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I'm going to compare it with Gala. So Gala has a market cap of 272. If you go to their website here, so and you still see the Gala page, right? Or the coin market cap.
Gala's up.
So this is Gala's website, and they definitely have some star power. Snoop Dogg's up here a lot. I remember during the bull market, Wendy O was shilling for him. She's a big crypto influencer. So they have some stuff going on. I like Gala a lot, and they have some games. But if you go to like click on their games, the first one that comes up, Champions Arena. I mean, I imagine they're putting that because it's the best one. And now this is how I actually assess some of this stuff. This is honestly what I do sometimes when I'm just doing research on these things. So that game I just showed, if you go to Twitter, how many followers this game has, 6,000. That's not much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just, so Gala has a bigger market cap than Omi. They have some things going on. They have some games and some nodes and stuff like that. But it's like a lot of crypto stuff. You go to the website and it doesn't look like there's a whole lot going on. And Gala had a 98% drop from its all-time high from the bull market.
That's very similar to Omi. They saw really big gains, top 5 gainer last cycle.
Yeah. And I was in Gala before the run-up, but I didn't have a whole lot of it, but I did know about it. And so they got $100 million less market cap. And if I came across it just like an object, I didn't know much about either one of the projects, and I'm just doing research, and I compared Gala and Ecomi. I would like Ecomi better, like for accumulation for the bull market. So the market cap's one, and you can read these write-ups, and they all sound pretty good. But if I was looking at it as like I didn't know anything about either one of them, and you see Omi's not on that many exchanges, Gala you can buy it anywhere, I would actually look at that as a plus, that when it does get listed, that it'll have a run up, even though that might not happen. I'm just saying, if I was an objective person looking at both of them, Omi has a smaller market cap, and then if I started like actually looking into the project, I would see some things like I just showed you, like the main game that Gala's featuring has 6,000 followers on Twitter, and then I would find that, well, Ecomi is linked to an app where people are putting $100,000 a day on it. And once again, I'm not trying to make a case for VV or anything like that. I'm just saying, if I was looking at it as an objective investor, I would actually pick Omi over Gala.
Yeah, and that's a very valid point if you're coming at it with a fresh lens, because a lot of people are looking at it through the lens of the last 2 years, and they're frustrated because they wanted more. Me being one of them, right? I wanted these milestones and these deliverables. I expected them to be out, and so there's frustration and negative sentiment. But if you're approaching it objectively as a newcomer and assessing the fundamentals, the setup is still there for the Omi token. And that's something that I try to keep in mind.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that a lot of us thought Omi, it was going to be that thing that it's all over the news, and it just had the ability for life-changing gains, and it didn't materialize like that. For things like Omi to $1 to happen, it was dependent on the burn, and then none ever got burned, and then the team keeps changing directions and stuff like that. So, and we all know that. So I still think Omi has a future and can still give good gains. I just don't think it's the moonshot that we once thought it was, and that's not because it's because of things we just said, like that the rules changed and the game kind of changed up. So anyway, and matter of fact, I'm just going to share my whole screen, Danny, like a minute ago. So it'll be easier going through this part.
So we'll go through these, and then people in the chat have some questions. We'll try to get to those after.
All right. And this is a project I want to talk about, just touch on real quick, because, and I posted this on Twitter, if you just are tired of the pain with Omi, it's not what you thought, it just isn't working out, this is a good alternative, I think, because it's called Wilder World. And you can click on this website and it'll show you their games and stuff like that. And they have real games, and it's a real project. And if you read through the coin market cap data and what it does, it's kind of what Omi should have been, or what we thought Omi would be, like used in this gaming in this world and stuff like that. It's got a market cap at 84 million, which isn't tiny, but it's, you know, half of what Omi is. You know, I feel it's a little bit like Omi without the IP, and they meet the deadlines. So I think this is a decent project to check out.
What blockchain is that on? Any idea?
It's on ETH, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Lark used to talk about that last cycle, Wilder World.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, Rock, that I know from John Cryptotherapies group, he told me about it, and you know, I started being an investor on it. And I don't know if people remember me talking about this last time. Dragon Chain was another thing I thought I was sharing my screen. You know, this is a project that people just thought was, I mean, when you read through the write-up, you're like, how is this not a top 5 project in crypto? It was interoperable from different blockchains. This right here, it says 250 million transactions in 24 hours. I've read before that was a record. It doesn't say it was a record here. They did something with COVID with the government. You know, Disney was involved at the beginning. They had everything going for it, and it just never materialized. And that's why I compare it, you know, tell people don't put all your eggs in the Omi basket. I think Omi can still do good things, but I mean, look at all these things for Dragon Chain. How could it not have been like this great, you know, top project, and it just never materialized? You look at the cap now, 2.5 million, and I wouldn't advise investing in it even with a small cap like that, because it's an older project. And if you look at the all-time, it came out, had a huge spike, and then just never did anything. Even through the bull market, look, this is the all-time high, and it for like or the first all-time high for Bitcoin in the last bull market, and it just never did anything. So a lot of people after the stream reached out to me about Mask, and I really like this a lot. You see the market cap's 7.5 million, pretty small. It's like a VPN on steroids, the benefits of a VPN and Tor. And here's their website. So you can like be part of the network, and they'll pay you in Mask. And I'm not exactly sure how all that works, but with the small cap, you know, I think privacy is a thing in crypto. VPNs and these things just go hand in hand with crypto. So this is one that I like, and I'm going a little heavier on this one than other lower cap alts.
Where do you buy that?
I buy it on Sushi Swap. I think it's only on Dexus that I know of.
Okay.
If a good exchange that has a lot of low cap alts is MEXC. So if it was on one, that it'd probably most likely be on there. This is secret. It's, you know, the cap is a 129, so I don't love that. But I do like the project. So it's like a blockchain and smart contracts and things like that the stuff is secret on. And I could just see like governments or hospitals, health stuff using this potentially. And the cap isn't huge. I would like for it to be smaller, but I think it's a decent one to DCA, and they got a website, and you can read more about it. This is one that I like. It came out recently. It's called Medicaid, but it's not the insurance that older people have. So a cap of 33 million. And for a newer project, I wouldn't spend a whole lot of money on it now, because some of these new projects, they have these kind of spikes at the beginning and then go down. But Medicaid, they have some good stuff going on. We'll see that video. We won't watch the whole video, but so I mean, you get the point. I mean, they got some stuff going on here, and a lot of these that I'm going over, they're kind of gaming, metaverse related, and I think this is one that has some potential. Like I said, it's brand new. I only think it's been out a month, so this is all hadn't been out 3 weeks.
Also on a Dex.
Yep, I got that on Sushi Swap as well, I believe. And I don't love, paying the gas fees on Dexus and stuff like that. I try to do it on the weekend or at night where the fees are a little lower, but I don't get too caught up of it, like a $10 gas fee or something like that. I'd rather pay the $10 gas fee and be holding some and DCA in through the bear market than waiting for it to be on Binance and it go up, a whole lot and then start buying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Medicaid is one that I think has some potential. Myria, this is one I found out on Telegram on Sarah Jean's Pirate VV group. They talk about some pretty good small cap stuff in there. And so some of these are, like I said, most of these are like gaming related. And we're going to look at their website, but they also have like a layer 2. So all the transactions happening on the platform are, you don't pay the ETH gas fees. And they have, gaming and some stuff like that. I don't remember everything off the top of my head, but it's a pretty promising one. I liked it. It definitely stood out over some of the other ones that I've looked at. The market cap is 7.3 million.
That's pretty small.
Yeah, it is pretty small.
So that's a gaming platform?
Yep. This game, and it hasn't been out long. And I'm drawing a little bit of a blank here. They have some other things going on that's noteworthy to point out with the gaming and stuff like that sets them apart. But I don't remember off the top of my head. But I do like them pretty good. They have nodes and NFTs, and they're doing.
How heavy do you go on these small tokens? You just throw like a few $100s at them?
Yeah, consistently. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know one guy who before last bull market, he put $100 into 20 different small caps and made 48,000.
Wow. Yeah. How many different small caps? 20?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I wouldn't recommend, even Mask, I wouldn't recommend going in, crazy because, these things can give, great, 50x, 100x, who knows, but they can also go to zero.
Right.
So I know that. And,
with small caps, your game is to spread out over multiple ones, hoping that, a couple of them have big gains.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I just buy here and there. I don't really worry about the price of Bitcoin too much or even the price of what these are. I mean, I look at the cap and just kind of go by that. This one's called Sato. It says a lot of these things that other blockchains do. You can get a better idea when you look at the website. It's supposed to be more scalable. I watched some videos on it. It looked promising enough. The cap.
This is a blockchain.
Yeah, it's 13 million. It has something to do with internet browsers or ISPs or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, here you go. The network pays ISPs instead of miners and stakers. I should have been a little more prepared to be able to explain it better, but I'm going over like 10 of these. Yeah. It's like you can do development through like the web browser, and it allows you to do that instead of like other ways that devs do things. So I thought it had some potential. Website's pretty cool, so that's always a plus. Rozone, I talked about this last time. Only $1 million cap. It's got like a launch pad, gaming, and DEX. If you look at their site, it's like a Web3 thing. They got these games and stuff. So the cap's only $1 million. I think it looks similar to a lot of other things out there, but $1 million, that's worth the chance.
Yeah, because even if it goes to 7 million, which is still super small, that's a 7x.
Right. Now this one, I would put this up there with Mask and Myria as well. Relio Network, I think that's how you pronounce it. Cap's only $1 million as well. And so this is like it's like a DEX that they provide liquidity and lending, but they want to do it for like institutions or something like that. I know when I was looking through it, I was pretty impressed. I think there's not anything that special about it. As far as compared to like some other DEXs and things like that, but the way that they're marketing it and the way that they're trying to present it, and like the whole team is fully doxxed. I mean, there's a lot of people here, and I looked into some of these people individually as well. And if you go through this website, you'll be pretty impressed. Just to use it, you have to do a KYC thing, and that's how they're marketing it. It's like a DEX for institutions. It's how they're kind of marketing it. So the token is Rio, and I think that this is a good one too. That stands out, especially with a $1.5 million cap. Yeah, and they have this app. You see, only 10,000 holders now as well. That's a good sign. This one's called Games for a Living. It's a newer project also, and so there's something really impressive about this one. So $3.3 million cap, but when you look at the site, this game right here, I think this is the game. No, here, yeah. Elemental Raiders. So when you go to the Twitter page, it's almost 300,000 followers. Wow. That I guess people are into this game.
Could it be like audit or something like that? Or like
I don't think that many. I know Elon Musk has really tried to actively get bots off of Twitter, which I'm sure that they're still up there, and that some of those are bots for sure. But I don't know. That seems like a lot of bots if it was that. So if that's true, then this has some real potential at a $3 million market cap.
What is that? 3 million?
Yeah, 3.3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the game. I mean, I don't know. I need to look into it a little bit more, but I mean, I'm sure you agree. It seems fairly promising at this point anyway. This one called Redodo. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's kind of like a gambling thing, $4 million market cap. They had this lottery, and it seems like it's fun. I know people get into this. You buy a ticket, and then they do this lottery thing, and if your ticket wins, then you win the money. So, and it's got some things going on like that, and I'd like it because it's a little bit different of what they're trying to do with this lottery thing. So, and then the last one is real quick, Wager, going into the gambling again, market cap less than $1 million. They have an actual website where you can bet. And I think betting and crypto is a marriage that's waiting to happen, gambling and crypto. So you can bet on, games or whatever up here. So it's a real product, $1 million market cap. So that's another one that I'll keep an eye on. But yeah, man, that's
good stuff.
Yeah, that's the small cap stuff that I got for y'all.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in spreading out over a bunch of small ones. So there's some really good ones in there I'm going to look at. We got some people in the chat asking questions. Let's try to go through them if you've got a little time.
Yeah, for sure.
We got Sona asked about the Ethereum chart and wanted to know what you see there.
The one reason I got so into analyzing Bitcoin is because I feel like if you can look at Bitcoin, then the rest of the market will just kind of follow it. So I feel like whatever Bitcoin's going to do, the ETH's going to just kind of follow it. There has been one or two times where price has like ETH has led the way up. But we'll look at the ETH chart real quick. When the Shanghai, and I wanted to have some stats and stuff about the Shanghai upgrade, but I didn't get a chance to do it, because when you looked at when it started to pump, I didn't get into the move. I mean, it was fine on smaller time frames, but I felt that when you zoomed out here, this is that pattern I was talking about earlier, where it's a double top and then the right side is a rising wedge. And I mean, you could imagine, put the lines here, looking pretty wedgy, and look, and then it dumped out of that wedge as well. So I thought it was more likely it was a fake out, a double top, rising wedge. So if I wanted a leg to break through this, like, what would that look like? Well, it would start something like this, and then maybe, bull flag, and then be more of a strong leg up. And then up here, if something's going kind of like like that, less probability that it's going to break through that range. But if it's doing something like this, and testing it more, then better chance it'll break through that. So you want like a strong move up, and then like price to kind of range up there where it's kind of being accepted and not being immediately rejected. And that's what you kind of want to see, a move to break through levels, a strong move up, and then not much rejection, price keep knocking on the door. But locally for ETH, if we look at the 4 hour, and I was thinking about this about Bitcoin. I think it's just more of a range right now. And it looks pretty much the same on ETH. If it's all right with Sona, I'm going to talk about it on Bitcoin just because I had already looked at it up there. So the way I see like the local price action on Bitcoin is like this. That is basically, you had this range. Well, we'll draw this all the way up to the top. And the mid channel and a range up here. And price is trying to get back up in the up top or half of the range, and it's struggling to do that. But you still see it's like right in the middle of this range. So up or down is kind of just as likely. I think overall that we're still get some moves up based on that market data as well. We should have about another month left in the rally. And that's not hard numbers, could be 3 weeks, could be 6 weeks, could be no more weeks. But based off that, I think, there's two things of confluence pointing to that about another month left in the rally. So I think just the local price action, I think it's a range. I think it's probably a little more likely to break up to the upside than the downside. But, overall, that it's probably just going to be rangy price action for a little bit, if I had to guess.
Cool. Let's see. Wiz asks if any thoughts on Shibarium.
Well, I'm not familiar with that one.
Is that the Shiba ecosystem or something like this? Look that up.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I'll look into it.
Yeah, maybe our next time, maybe Wiz. What else we got? Someone's asking, do you have any thoughts on DAG Constellation?
No, I'm not familiar with that one either.
Yeah, me neither. And GRT, the graph.
Yeah, graph's okay. I think it's got a fairly good size market cap already, but I had invested in it at times last bull market. I think it's a pretty decent project.
And VRA?
Yeah, VRA is good. Yeah, for larger cap stuff that I'll DCA before the bull market. That's one. H-bar. I like things that don't have a lot of competitors too, like that kind of dominate the niche space, like XRP, Link, Vet.
Yeah,
I think those are good. And I don't love Doge. I actually hate Doge, but it is what it is. Elon Musk is going to keep pumping it and using it for things. And I don't know if a lot of people don't know this. Elon Musk started PayPal.
Yeah.
And he sold it in 2008. A lot of people don't know that. And he had some plan for something called X app that was supposed to be like some payment thing. So it sounds like you're familiar with it. And, I think that's one of the reasons why he bought Twitter, and that he's going to plan to use Dogecoin and Mask, the MASK crypto, potentially as well, with some that he's doing with Twitter. So those are all some larger caps that I like.
And how spread apart are you on larger caps?
I'm not holding any larger caps right now. Not really. Those I trade them throughout the market cycle, the ones that I like, but I haven't bagged up or started really DCAing and accumulating the larger cap stuff.
Yeah, Jordan's asking about the ADA chart. If you want to, can you pull that one up? You don't like ADA, right?
I don't love it, but just because I don't like it, I'm not anybody.
No,
But
I've got an ADA bag.
I don't love Solana either.
Yeah.
But it seems to do pretty well. John's Cryptotherapy, he likes ADA. It's one of the projects that he brings up a lot. So people certainly like it. So this is the 4 hour right here, and you got looks like a broad bull channel. It's one of the first things I do when I look at an asset. I feel like it can move in 4 different ways: a breakout, a tight channel, a broad channel, and a range. And a range is neutral. So basically, the market can move in 7 different ways, because breakout, bullish or bearish; tight channel, bullish or bearish; or broad channel, bullish or bearish. So that's the first thing I would do, is just kind of draw some sort of market structure, make some kind of sense of what I'm looking at. And that's kind of what you see a lot of times. So it was more of a tight to broad channel going up, and then the channel expands, and became more of a broad channel. Sorry, I'll get it right in a second. And if I put that more, it'd probably go. But anyway, in any event, it's going in a broad bull channel, excuse me. So ADA doesn't look like a bad time to buy, in my opinion. It got up over the 200-day moving average. Below it, got back over it. It's holding over it now. If you want to trade it off the channel, then it's at the bottom of a channel. So yeah, ADA doesn't look too bad right now. And when I look at alts, I try to just go off the alt chart and not consider BTC too much. I know alts will move as BTC, and that's why I try not to leverage trade alts too much anymore. I do so good with BTC that I'll do good and hit a nice 10, 12 trades in a row in BTC, and then give it all back doing some degen alt play that just blows up in my face. So yeah, ADA, it's okay. You got it down here. It's close to support. You like to see it reach up this high or to the top of the bull channel. So
yeah, I've been DCAing into ADA around the 38-cent level.
Yeah, I think ADA's a fine. It's a top 10 project. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I just don't love it myself.
Right. And when Kenobi says Moni token has a 660K market cap. If they can pull off their play to earn game in the bull market, could reach 66 million, which would be 100x, but it's high risk and can easily flop. So it's good to I love this sort of stream, because it's good to share ideas. And just, I wrote some of the things down that you were talking about: Mask, Miria. I'm going to look into those. And my goal is to spread out a little over some of these really small cap coins, so to potentially make some big gains. So I do want to thank you for coming on, sharing your research, sharing your insights into the market. It's always a good time. Anything you want to share, last thoughts with the people?
Nah, thanks for having me on, Danny. I hope everybody got something out of it. And some of the things that people brought up in the chat, I'll check them out. That's how I find some of these things. I read comments on Twitter and Telegram and other things that people invest in, and small caps they talk, and I'm looking into them myself. And then some of them pan out, some of them don't. So some of the things that people brought up in the chat, I'll definitely run down, check out myself.
Yeah, and then if you guys want to learn more from Ron, follow him on Twitter. I linked his Twitter handle in the description. You might see him more on YouTube. That's something that you're looking into over the next few months or so?
No, probably sooner than that. Probably within the next week or two. I've been talking about making a YouTube channel for a while, and it's just time and things like that. But I decided I'm finally going to do it. So I'm making the first video now. It'll probably be another week or two before I actually post it. But yeah, I'm going to start doing that soon.
Dope. And God's Entry texted me during this that maybe one day the three of us will jump on a stream together, share some ideas, go over some charts.
Yeah, I'd love that. I watched the stream with him on, I think it was Hello K's channel.
Yeah, he was on K's last.
Yeah, I watched that. in its entirety as well. I liked a lot of things he said. I know he's very well respected in the community. I haven't been as active on Twitter until like recently. That's actually why my name was Cryptoghost, because I said I'm gonna be like a ghost. Like I'm just here for the news and things like that, and I'm not here to like talk to anybody. And I ended up making friends with people. So
Yeah. And we got to get Sona on here too, man. Sona's got to make his YouTube debut. He's been active in Twitter Spaces. I want to see him come up here and short some Ponzi's with us.
yeah, man, Sona, he's the Twitter Spaces guy right now. You know, I don't know if a lot of people know how young Sona is. He's like
Like
21.
15.
He's like 21, I think, and he goes to school for finance. So like he goes to school
Wow.
for this as well. Yeah, I think he's a real smart kid, and I think he's got a really, really bright future.
Yeah, I think it's pretty dope to see young people, with a mind and a knack and a passion for investing in this stuff. Those are the people 10, 20 years from now, they're going to be doing some great things.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a whale one day.
Especially after he hits puberty, it's over.
Well, he's got a lot of mouths to feed on Twitter. You see all his kids.
Yeah, he got his whole family up in there. All right, man. I want to thank everyone in the chat for coming through and joining us today. Thanks, Ron, once again. I'm about to end this. You can stay on the stream, Ron. I'm going to end this, and I'll chat with you.
Cool.
Peace out, everyone.
Later.